Morning sunlight poured through the tall windows of Jae-min's penthouse, turning the living room gold. Naomi stood by the entrance with one suitcase, one tote bag, and the expression of a woman trying not to be impressed. Jae-min walked in wearing a relaxed navy sweater and a proud smile. "Welcome home." Naomi looked around slowly. "This is not a home. This is a hotel that got promoted." "You say that like it is bad." Her eyes moved to the kitchen, where 5 coffee machines stood in a perfect line. "Why do you have 5 coffee machines?" "They all make different coffee. They make hot brown liquid." That is a painful sentence. On the table, Naomi noticed slippers, toiletries, hair products, sweaters, and a silk scarf arranged carefully. Jae-min leaned on the counter as if the gifts had appeared by magic. "Did you buy all this?" she asked. "The penthouse did." "The penthouse has a credit card?" "Several." Naomi tried not to smile. "You are impossible. I prefer rare." Her teasing softened as she touched the scarf. There were no reporters now, no contract, no pretending, just Jae-min watching her with quiet hope. "You did not have to do all this," she said. "I know, but I wanted your first morning here to feel easy." Naomi looked away before he could see how much that meant. "Fine, but if one of those coffee machines talks, I am leaving." Jae-min pointed to the third one. "That one only complains." Down the hallway, Chloe watched Minjin carry 2 heavy suitcases as if they were pillows. He placed them by Naomi's guest room, straightened the handles, and checked the corridor like luggage could become a threat. "Do you ever struggle?" Chloe asked. Minjin looked at the suitcases. "With these? No, I mean in life," he considered it. "Once I bought grape juice instead of orange." Chloe blinked. "That was your crisis?" "It was unexpected." She picked up a tiny purse. "I can help." "That weighs less than a phone." "Then I am helping efficiently." "That is not what efficiently means." "It is today." For 1 second his mouth almost moved. Chloe gasped. "Was that a smile?" "No. It twitched. Your face tried to escape." Minjin lifted another bag. "You are mistaken." "I am never mistaken about handsome men smiling at me." He nearly missed a step. Chloe saw it and looked victorious. "Progress," she whispered. "I heard that," Minjun said. "Good, then I do not have to repeat it." That evening, Jae-min declared he would make a simple welcome dinner. 5 minutes later, the counter looked like a cooking show had lost a fight. Naomi forgot water in the rice cooker. Chloe cut carrots into strange orange triangles. Jae-min added cinnamon to soup and called it creative balance. Naomi stared into the pot. "This soup smells like Christmas," got confused. Minjin silently watched for 3 minutes before pulling out his phone. Jae-min frowned. "Who are you calling?" "Dinner." "We are making dinner." Minjin looked at the bubbling soup. "No, sir. You are creating evidence." Chloe laughed against the counter while Naomi covered her face. Jae-min pointed at the pot, wounded. "This is not evidence. This is experimental cuisine." "It is making a sound," Minjun said. "Food should not argue." 20 minutes later, takeout covered the table. Naomi sat beside Jae-min. Chloe sat across from Minjin, and Seoul glittered beyond the windows. Jae-min raised his cup. "To our first dinner at home." Naomi lifted hers. "To Minjun saving us from the soup." Chloe smiled at Minjun. "My hero." Minjun looked down at his food, but this time his tiny smile was clear. Naomi saw it. Chloe saw it. Even Jae-min saw it. Nobody said a word, which made Chloe smile even wider. The next morning, Naomi woke to coffee and the dangerous sound of Jae-min humming confidently. She found him in the kitchen moving between 5 coffee machines like a conductor leading a very expensive orchestra. "Should I call someone?" Naomi asked. "No, I'm handling it." One machine hissed sharply. "It disagrees." Jae-min placed a cup in front of her. "Try this. Smooth, warm, slightly stubborn." "Are we still talking about coffee?" "Maybe." She took a sip and hated that it was perfect. "Annoyingly good." "My favorite kind of good." Naomi noticed a tablet on the counter with a grocery list titled, "Things Normal People Buy." The first item read, "Bread, probably." She turned the screen toward him. "Bread, probably. Bread comes in many forms. I did not want to limit us." "Have you ever bought groceries yourself?" Jae-min straightened. "I have entered a supermarket." "That is not the same thing." "I observed people buying things." Naomi took the tablet and stood. "Get dressed. Today you are learning how not to buy $12 bananas." "How much should bananas cost?" She stared at him. He smiled carefully. Less than 12? We have a lot of work to do. Before the supermarket trip, Chloe dragged Minjun through a shopping street for one small thing. The one small thing became hair clips. Socks, lip gloss, and a tiny plush tiger she insisted looked exactly like him. Minjun held the toy beside his face. It does not resemble me. Same eyebrows. Its eyebrows are stitched. Exactly. Serious commitment. They stopped for spicy rice cakes. Chloe handed him a cup. Try it. Live dangerously. Minjun took one bite. His face did not move. Well, she asked. It is warm. Warm? My tongue just filed a complaint. Without thinking, Minjun offered her his water. The small gesture made her teasing smile soften. Thank you. You were suffering. Very heroic observation. He looked into the bag. Do you want the tiger carried separately? It may get crushed. Chloe brightened. You care about Captain Eyebrows. That is its name? It is now. Minjun closed his eyes for a second, then carefully moved the plush tiger to the top of the bag. Chloe pointed at him. That is a confession in your language. He walked ahead, but his ears turned red. The supermarket had never seen anything like them. Naomi moved through the aisles with purpose. Chloe threw snacks into the cart as if preparing for a small war. Jaemin compared bread like he was choosing a company merger. Minjun pushed the cart, silent and concerned. Naomi held up instant noodles. These, Jaemin frowned. Are they good? They are noodles, not a board member. Relax. Chloe tossed in 3 more flavors. For research, Minjun looked into the cart. This is not a balanced diet. Chloe pointed at chips. There is air in the bag. Balance. At the cereal aisle, Jaemin stared at bright boxes covered in cartoon animals. Why does breakfast need mascots? Naomi smiled. Because adults need emotional support before work. Chloe grabbed a pink box. This turns the milk pink. Minjun looked alarmed. Why would milk change color? Because joy exists, Chloe said. At checkout, Jaemin reached for his black card. Naomi caught his wrist and handed him cash. Today you pay like a civilian. He looked at the bills. This is charming. Never say that near normal people. Outside, Minjun carried 10 grocery bags. Jaemin carried 1 tiny paper bag with cereal. Chloe carried Captain Eyebrows. Naomi carried coffee and her dignity. Jaemin glanced at the cereal. If this ruins milk, I blame Chloe, Minjun said quietly. Captain Eyebrows has no legal authority. Naomi laughed so hard she nearly dropped the coffee. Naomi's first morning at Han Group began with 3 employees almost walking into a glass wall because they were trying not to stare. She wore a cream blazer, calm heels, and ignored the whispers. Jaemin met her near the elevator with 2 coffees. Welcome to my company. Naomi took a cup. You say that like you built it with your hands. I signed several important documents. Heroic. Did you survive the paper cuts? He placed one hand on his chest. Barely. They walked through the office as people bowed, smiled, then whispered. She leaned closer. Do they think I'm scary? Only the smart ones. Good answer. Inside a small conference room, Jaemin showed her a marketing campaign. Naomi thought he was being sweet. Then she realized the campaign was truly bad. She flipped through the slides. Who approved this? Jaemin slowly looked away. Jaemin! In my defense, the chart was shiny. Naomi stared at him. A PowerPoint transition seduced you. When you say it like that, it sounds worse. She picked up a pen and began marking the pages. Jaemin watched her work, the teasing fading from his face. You belong here, he said quietly. Then Naomi paused. Because I insulted your chart? Because you made it better. She pointed the pen at him. Do not get sentimental in a conference room. It ruins the lighting. Jaemin laughed, and outside the glass wall, 3 employees instantly pretended they had not been watching. At lunchtime, Chloe entered the lobby with 2 bubble teas and the confidence of a woman carrying destiny in plastic cups. Minjun stood near the security desk in his black suit. She handed him one. I brought you lunch. He looked at the cup. That is a beverage. It has chewy things. It counts. He studied the dark pearls at the bottom. What are those? Tapioca. They are moving. Because you shook the cup. Chloe pushed in the straw and smiled. Drink, be brave. Minjun took a cautious sip. A pearl shot up the straw. His eyes widened for half a second before his face returned to stone. Chloe gasped. You reacted. It attacked me. It is tapioca. It had speed. She laughed so loudly 2 receptionists turned around. Minjun looked embarrassed, which made her laugh even harder. Do you hate it? She asked. He looked at the cup, then took another sip. No, it is unpredictable. That is the nicest thing you have ever said about a drink. They walked to a quiet corner. Chloe told him about her job interview in Seoul, acting excited but failing to hide her nerves. Minjun listened without interrupting. When she finished, he said, "You will do well." "You think so?" "Yes, you speak with confidence even when the sentence changes direction." She stared at him. That was almost beautiful. It was accurate. "I will take it." For the first time, Minjun's smile lasted more than a second. The company rooftop had a small garden, a long table, and a view of Seoul that made lunch feel like a scene from a drama. Naomi arrived with Jae-min, still holding the marked campaign pages. Chloe and Minjun were already there, Chloe sipping bubble tea while Minjun guarded both her and the drink. Jae-min looked at Minjun's cup. "You drink bubble tea now?" Minjun answered calmly. "It is a tactical beverage." Naomi sat down. "I am afraid to ask," Chloe grinned. A pearl attacked him. He survived. Jae-min's eyes lit up. "Minjun lost a fight to dessert?" "I did not lose." "Did it enter your mouth without warning?" "That is how straws work, sir." Naomi covered her laugh with a napkin while Chloe nearly dropped her cup. Jae-min sat beside Naomi and stole one of her fries. She slapped his hand lightly. "You have your own. Yours looked better. They are the same fries. Then why are yours winning?" Near the end, Jae-min looked at Naomi. "The revised campaign meeting is tomorrow. I want you there." Naomi's smile softened. "You trust me that much?" "More than my charts. Low bar, but I'll take it." Across the table, Chloe nudged Minjun. "That was cute." Minjun looked at Naomi and Jae-min, then at Chloe. "Yes." Chloe froze. "Wait, did you just agree with romance?" Minjun picked up his bubble tea. "I agreed with an observation. Too late." "I heard romance." Naomi found Jae-min in the penthouse living room at 8 in the morning, already dressed like a man who had never heard of rest. He stood by the window with his phone in one hand, a tablet in the other, and a third device blinking on the table. "Are you fighting a war or checking your calendar?" Naomi asked. Jae-min looked up. "Both require strategy." "No." She took the tablet from him and placed it face down. "Today is your day off." She dragged him to a small hidden cafe in a narrow Seoul street, the kind of place with wooden tables, plants in the window, and no private dining room. Jae-min glanced around like he had entered another country. "Where is the private room?" "There is no private room. There are chairs. Very advanced technology." Naomi ordered 2 coffees and 1 slice of strawberry cake. Jae-min returned from the counter carrying 4 cakes, 2 scones, and a tiny pudding cup. Naomi stared. "I said 1 slice. I did not know which one you wanted." "So you bought the whole bakery?" "Not the whole bakery. They refused to sell the sign." Naomi tried not to laugh and failed. Jae-min watched her with a softer expression than usual. He pushed the strawberry cake toward her. "You picked this first," he said. "So it is the winner. Careful, billionaire. You are dangerously close to being cute." He leaned back, pleased. "I have been cute for years." "You are late to the market." While Naomi forced Jae-min into normal life, Chloe dragged Minjun into an arcade. He stopped just inside the entrance, staring at the neon lights and music with silent suspicion. "Relax," Chloe said. "No one is attacking you." "That machine is shouting." "That machine is a dance game. It appears unstable. That is because people with rhythm use it." "Your turn." "No." "Bodyguard Park. Are you scared of arrows?" "I respect arrows." He finally stepped on the platform and somehow scored higher than her. Chloe stared at the screen. "How did you do that?" "Pattern recognition. You danced like a refrigerator. A successful refrigerator." She laughed so hard she had to lean against the machine. Then they moved to a claw machine filled with ugly duck plush toys. Minjun studied the claw for 7 seconds, inserted 1 coin and won on the first try. Chloe hugged the crooked duck to her chest. "This is the most romantic thing anyone has ever won for me. It has uneven eyes." "Exactly. It has personality, like you. My eyes are even. See? You proved my point without understanding the point." Minjun looked away, but Chloe caught the corner of his mouth moving. Not a full smile, not yet, but enough to make her grin all the way out of the arcade. That evening, the 4 of them met near the Han River for a picnic. Minjun arrived with a proper blanket, napkins, bottled water, and neatly packed food. Chloe arrived behind him with the ugly duck plush toy sticking out of her bag. Jae-min appeared carrying a gold-handled basket that looked expensive enough to need a security code. Naomi pointed at it. Do I want to know how much that fruit basket cost? $900, Jamin said. Everyone froze. For fruit? Chloe whispered. Naomi picked up one grape between two fingers. I hope these grapes have college degrees. Minjun inspected the basket. The melon is wrapped individually. That is suspicious, Jamin frowned. It is premium fruit. It is fruit wearing a tuxedo, Naomi said. Chloe tried to take a group selfie, but every picture had the same problem. Naomi looked beautiful. Chloe made a weird face. Jamin looked like he was posing for a business magazine, and Minjun blinked. Again, Chloe announced. We have taken 12, Minjun said. And you blinked in 11. That means one is usable. The usable one is of your left ear. Naomi leaned against Jamin, laughing into her cup. Chloe placed the ugly duck toy in the middle of the blanket. Family photo, she declared. Minjun sighed. Jamin straightened his shoulders. Naomi rolled her eyes and Chloe lifted the camera. This time somehow nobody blinked. The next afternoon, Naomi asked for a normal walk. Jamin agreed, which meant he only brought one discreet security car and pretended that counted as normal. They stopped inside a quiet bookstore cafe and shared one iced coffee because Naomi insisted that buying two when they could share was wasteful. Jamin held the cup like it was a strange business risk. You know I can afford a second straw. Congratulations. Try surviving one shared beverage. He took a dramatic sip. I am growing as a person. Naomi laughed, then stopped when someone said her name. Daniel stood near the shelves. Naomi's smile disappeared. Jamin noticed immediately. Naomi, Daniel said. I saw the news. You are doing very well. I was doing well before the news, Naomi replied. His eyes moved to Jamin. I just wanted to talk. We ended things badly. You ended things badly, Naomi corrected. I watched. Jamin stepped slightly closer, calm, present. She said no. Daniel forced a laugh. I did not ask anything yet. Your face did, Jamin said. Naomi looked at him surprised, then almost smiled. Daniel tried once more. Can we at least get coffee? Naomi lifted the cup she already shared with Jamin. I'm full. Outside, the air felt lighter. Jamin looked at her carefully. You okay? Yes, she exhaled. Thank you for not turning that into a billionaire. Thunderstorm. I considered buying the building and banning him. Of course you did. But I am learning normal behavior. Chloe found Minjun later outside a convenience store. He stood too still, staring at a shelf of instant noodles as if the noodles had personally offended him. You are doing the thing again, she said. What thing? Standing like a statue with unfinished business. He picked up one packet of noodles, then put it down. I heard about Daniel. Chloe's smile faded. Naomi handled it. I know. Then why do you look like you want to question the soup aisle? Minjun looked toward the window. People should not return only when someone becomes valuable to others. They should know her value before anyone is watching. She picked up a basket and began filling it with chocolate sticks, peach drinks, chips, and Naomi's favorite cookies. Comfort food, she explained. Minjun took the basket from her. How many items are required for comfort? There is no official number. He nodded and added 6 more things. Chloe blinked. That might be too much comfort. Are you trying to impress me, Park Minjun? No. You bought me snacks. I bought emergency supplies. For my heart? He looked at her for one long second. For morale! Chloe smiled like she had just won a prize. Morale is adorable. Minjun stared straight ahead, but this time she saw it clearly. He was smiling. That night, Chloe declared an emergency movie night in the penthouse. Naomi arrived in soft lounge clothes, carrying the convenience store bag like evidence. Jamin stood proudly beside a screen that lowered from the ceiling. Naomi looked up. Why does your television arrive like a spaceship? It improves the experience. It is a movie, not a national address. Chloe dumped the snacks on the table. Tonight we heal through sugar and bad decisions. Minjun sat at the end of the sofa with perfect posture. I brought a film option. Chloe brightened. Romantic comedy? Action, mystery. He handed her the case. She read the title. Workplace Evacuation Procedure, updated version. Silence. Naomi turned slowly. Minjun. He looked confused by the disappointment. It has a strong second half. Jamin nodded. The fire exit sequence is well edited. Chloe stared at both men. I am surrounded by handsome furniture. They chose a comedy instead. Jae-min attempted popcorn and burned the first batch so badly that the kitchen smelled like defeat. Minjun opened the windows and silently ordered fried chicken. Halfway through the movie, Chloe threw popcorn at Minjun because he guessed every plot twist early. He caught 3 pieces without looking away from the screen. "Stop being impressive by accident," she whispered. "I am not doing it on purpose." Naomi laughed. Jae-min laughed because Naomi laughed, and the room felt easy again. Inside, 4 people who had once been strangers slowly became something warmer, messier, and much harder to leave. Naomi woke just after midnight and noticed a line of light beneath Jae-min's office door. She made coffee in the kitchen, choosing the only machine that did not look like it needed a pilot license. When she entered the office, Jae-min was surrounded by papers, his tie loose, his hair messier than usual. "You are awake," he said. "And you are pretending furniture counts as company." He accepted the coffee with a tired smile. Naomi looked around and noticed 5 different coffee machines lined up on one counter. "Jae-min, how many coffees do you drink?" "1." She pointed at the machines. "Then why do you own 5? He looked at them, completely serious. "They all make slightly different 1 coffees." Naomi stared until he started laughing. "Most people just have 1 machine and trust destiny," she said. "That sounds dangerous." "So does owning a coffee museum." Jae-min looked down at his papers, then back at her. "Before you came here, this place was efficient, but quiet. That sounds like a polite way to say boring." "It was." He hesitated. "Now it feels less like a place I return to, and more like a place I want to return to." Naomi's teasing smile softened. "That was almost smooth." "Almost." "You lost points for the 5 machines." Naomi stood, hiding her smile. "Good night, Coffee Prince. Good night, Destiny Truster." The next morning, Chloe insisted that Minjun accompany her to buy a plant for Naomi's new office corner. She called it a cheerful errand. Minjun called it unnecessary because plants were not edible. "That is the saddest sentence anyone has ever said near a fern," Chloe told him. Minjun stood by the door scanning the carriage, while Chloe held a small potted plant with yellow flowers. "Do you ever do anything spontaneous?" she asked. "Once." Her eyes widened. "Tell me everything." "I bought grape juice instead of orange." She waited. "And that is the story." Chloe laughed so loudly that 2 students looked over. A few stops later, the train rocked gently and her head slowly dropped onto Minjun's shoulder. He froze. Minjun did not move. His arms stayed lifted awkwardly above the rail so Chloe could sleep without being disturbed. When she finally woke, she blinked at the station name outside the window. "Wait, did we miss our stop?" "Yes. How many?" 3. "Why didn't you wake me?" Minjun looked straight ahead. "You looked peaceful." Chloe's smile came slowly. "So you sacrificed the mission for my nap?" "The plant is still alive. The mission is recoverable." She hugged the pot to her chest. "Minjun, that is dangerously close to poetry," he sighed. But when the train doors opened again, he offered her his hand to help her out. That weekend, Chloe convinced everyone to visit a small amusement park. Naomi came for snacks, Jae-min came to win, Minjun came to locate exits, and Chloe came to create trouble. Their first stop was a ring toss booth. Jae-min rolled his shoulders like an athlete entering a championship. Naomi held up 1 ring. "You know this game is mostly luck, right?" "Luck respects preparation." He missed the first throw. Then the second. Then the third. A small child beside him landed 2 rings in a row and won a giant plush dog. Jae-min stared at the child. "Impressive technique." Naomi covered her mouth. "Are you analyzing a 7-year-old? He has strong wrist control." Naomi took 1 ring, threw it without trying too hard, and landed it perfectly. The booth worker handed her a huge plush dog. Chloe screamed like Naomi had won an Olympic medal. Minjun studied the prize. "It will be difficult to transport." "Good," Chloe said. "You need a challenge." Once again, Minjun blinked in almost every photo. Chloe finally turned his face toward the camera. Eyes open, smile optional, survival required. The next photo caught them all laughing, even Minjun. Later, as the amusement park lights flickered on, Naomi walked beside Jae-min carrying the giant plush dog between them. "Still think luck respects preparation?" she asked. He looked at the toy, then at her. "I think luck likes you better." Behind them, Chloe showed Minjun the photo. He was smiling in it, not much, but enough. "Proof," she said. He glanced at the screen. "That may be a lighting error." "Nope, that's your face doing joy." For once, Minjun did not deny it. Naomi did not notice the word slip out until it was already in the air. "I left my charger at home," she said. walking into the penthouse kitchen in soft lounge clothes, her curls still damp from the shower. Jae-min froze with his coffee halfway to his mouth. "Home?" Naomi turned. "Do not make that face." "I am not making a face. You look like someone handed you a trophy and a puppy." He set the cup down with exaggerated care. "I am acknowledging an important vocabulary update. And you made it weird. Congratulations." The penthouse had changed in small ways since she moved in. Her orange mug sat among his identical black ones. Her blanket lived on the sofa. Her books leaned against his expensive business biographies like they were judging them. Then Jae-min opened a closet and revealed 7 new pairs of slippers. Naomi stared. "Why are there 7? Different rooms have different floor temperatures. My feet are not diplomats. They do not need an outfit for each territory." He laughed and handed her a cream pair anyway. She put them on, annoyed by how comfortable they were. "I accept these only because they are soft," she said. "That is enough for me." She looked away, hiding a smile. The place was ridiculous, too polished, too expensive, too Jae-min. But now it had her mug, her blanket, and his ridiculous slippers waiting for her. Maybe home did not have to be small to be hers. Chloe visited Minjun's apartment that afternoon because, according to her, she needed to make sure he did not live inside a drawer. The apartment was spotless, quiet, and suspiciously empty. 1 gray sofa, 1 black table, 1 cup by the sink. No photos, no bright colors, no sign that anyone had ever laughed there. Chloe stepped inside. "Is this your apartment or a furniture showroom with trust issues?" "It is efficient," Minjun said. "It is lonely." He looked around as if the walls might disagree. She unpacked a small green plant, 2 yellow mugs, and a pillow shaped like smiling toast. Minjun stared at the pillow. "Why is bread happy?" "Because it met me." "That explanation is weak. So is owning 1 cup, but I am being brave about it." He tried to look stern. Chloe softened. "I am not changing your apartment," she said. "Just leaving proof that someone stops by." Minjun's expression shifted. "No one stops by often. Then I will have to be very annoying about it." "You already are." Chloe smiled. That sounded almost affectionate. It was an observation. A warm observation. He placed the plant near the window where it would get sun. Chloe watched him do it, and for once decided not to tease him. That night, Chloe declared board game night at the penthouse. Naomi chose a simple drawing game, saying even Jae-min could not turn it into a competition. Jae-min cracked his knuckles. "Every game has strategy." Naomi looked at him. "It is drawing a duck in 30 seconds. A duck can be drawn with ambition." Minjun read the rules like a man preparing for court. Chloe leaned over his shoulder. "There are no loopholes in a duck." The first round was chaos. Chloe drew something with wings, teeth, and dramatic eyebrows. Minjun studied it. "Angry sandwich. It is a swan." "The sandwich is in danger." Naomi dropped her pencil from laughing. Jae-min tried to draw a cat, but everyone guessed lion, cloud, and expensive potato before Naomi finally gave up. "Is it a cat?" she asked. "A designer cat," he said. "It looks like it lost a business deal." When Minjun's turn came, he drew 3 straight lines and 1 square. "Tiger," he announced. Chloe blinked. "Where?" "Inside the square." "You drew a trapped tiger?" It seemed safer. Everyone burst out laughing. Even Minjun smiled before he could hide it. Later, Naomi sat beside Jae-min while Chloe argued that a swan could absolutely have eyebrows. The city glittered beyond the windows. The table was covered in pencils and snacks, and the penthouse no longer felt silent. It felt messy, warm, and alive. The rain began before breakfast and covered the penthouse windows in silver lines. Naomi stood by the glass with a mug in both hands. "Perfect," she said. "The city is telling us to stay inside." Jae-min came out of his office with a laptop under one arm. "I can work from here." Naomi took one look at it. "No. It is only for urgent matters. Everything is urgent when your phone has anxiety. My phone does not have anxiety." It buzzed 3 times on the table. Naomi raised one eyebrow. Jae-min turned the phone face down like it had betrayed him. Temporary enthusiasm. She made him sit on the floor with a blanket, noodles, and an old romantic comedy. Jae-min kept judging the characters for poor communication. They could solve this with one honest conversation, he said. Naomi pointed her chopsticks at him. "Says the man who bought 7 pairs of slippers instead of saying he wanted me comfortable." He smiled. "That was an honest purchase. You are impossible. And yet you are wearing the living room slippers." She looked down. He was right. Rain tapped gently against the glass. The movie played Forgotten. Their shoulders touched and neither moved away. "Do you miss your old apartment?" he asked. "Sometimes. It was small, but it was mine." "This can be yours too," Jae-min said. "Not because I own it. Because you are in it." Naomi's teasing smile softened. "Careful. You are getting good at this." He looked at her. "I have a good teacher." Chloe and Minjun had gone out for groceries when the sky opened. Their tiny umbrella covered exactly one shoulder each and nothing useful. "This umbrella is decorative," Minjun said. "It has a cute pattern. That counts. It is losing to weather." A car splashed water toward the curb. Minjun caught Chloe by the wrist and pulled her back before it hit her shoes. She looked at his hand, then up at him. "Fast reflexes. Wet shoes, slow movement. So you saved my mobility?" "Yes. Romantic. Very practical." His ears went faintly red. Chloe noticed and smiled like she had found treasure. They hid beneath a convenience store awning. Minjun removed his jacket and placed it over her shoulders. "You will get cold," she said. "I am larger. I retain heat better." That is not how romance usually phrases itself, but I appreciate the science. He looked away, embarrassed. She hugged the jacket around herself. "You know," she said, softer now. "You do not always have to protect people by standing in front of them. Sometimes standing beside them works too." Minjun glanced at her. "Beside you is preferred." Chloe's smile went quiet. Then a scooter honked, and she almost dropped the grocery bag. Minjun caught it with one hand. "Show off," she muttered. The eggs were at risk. By evening, everyone returned to the penthouse soaked, cold, and offended by the weather. Naomi handed Chloe a towel. Jae-min opened a drawer and revealed 4 pairs of thick socks arranged by color. Naomi stared. "Do not tell me these socks are separated by floor temperature, too." "No," Jae-min said. "These are for cold feet emergencies." A normal sentence. "I am proud of you." Chloe came out wearing Minjun's black jacket. Naomi noticed immediately. "Nice jacket." Chloe lifted her chin. "It was issued due to weather crimes." Minjun placed the grocery bags down. "Correct?" Jae-min tried to make hot chocolate and somehow poured marshmallows into the wrong pot. Naomi stopped him before the situation became soup. "How do you make business deals worth millions but lose to cocoa powder?" she asked. "Cocoa powder has no clear leadership structure." Minjun silently took over the stove. Minutes later, 4 mugs sat on the table. They gathered by the windows, watching rain soften soul. Chloe leaned into the warmth of Minjun's jacket. Naomi stood close to Jae-min, her fingers around the mug he had almost ruined. "Today was a disaster," Chloe said. "A wet disaster," Minjun corrected. "A cozy wet disaster," Naomi said. Jae-min looked around at all of them and smiled. "I like days where everyone comes back here." Nobody teased him for that. Not even Chloe Jae-min began acting strange on Monday morning. He kept checking his jacket pocket, then pretending he had not. He stared at Naomi's left hand during breakfast, then looked away so quickly that he knocked over his spoon. Naomi watched him across the kitchen island. "Are you hiding a crime or dessert?" "Neither." That answer had no confidence. He cleared his throat. Hypothetical question. Dangerous beginning. If someone wanted to give someone else something important, but the someone else dislikes surprises unless the surprise is food, how should the first someone proceed? Naomi stared. "You just built a maze with words. It is simple. It is wearing a fake mustache." He gave up and poured coffee. Naomi stepped closer, amused. "Jae-min, if you are planning something, you do not have to perform a business drama around it." His usual confidence softened into something nervous. "I want to do it right. Then do not make it perfect. Make it honest." He repeated the word quietly. "Honest, and maybe no backup plans. What about 3? 1. 1 feels reckless. Welcome to love, billionaire." Terrible planning conditions. After Naomi left, Jae-min opened his palm. A small velvet ring box rested there. He breathed out and smiled. 1 plan, honest. Minjun invited Chloe to a small noodle shop that evening. He said it was not a date. Chloe said any invitation that included food and eye contact counted, and he did not argue fast enough. They sat by the window with steaming bowls between them. "You have been quiet," Chloe said. "I am usually quiet." "No, this is special quiet. Like your brain is wearing dress shoes." Minjun placed both hands on the table. "I wanted to ask you something without doing it badly." Chloe leaned forward. "Now I am terrified and interested. When I am with you, my day becomes less predictable." That sounds like an insult with good lighting. It is not. I used to prefer predictable. I still do, mostly. He looked at her carefully. But I like being near you. Even when you talk during quiet moments. Even when you give objects personalities. Even when you say my apartment needs curtains with hope. Chloe went still. He continued quieter. I do not know how to be playful the way you are. But I want to learn if you are the one teaching. Her smile came slowly. That was actually very good. Really? A little weird, but strong. She reached across the table and touched his hand. I like being near you, too. Even when you walk like you are guarding a museum full of snacks. Snacks are vulnerable, Chloe laughed. And this time, Minjun laughed with her. Chloe's birthday arrived on Friday, and Naomi decided they would celebrate on the penthouse rooftop. Jae-min hired no orchestra, ordered no ice sculpture, and only tried to buy one small fireworks show before Naomi caught him. No fireworks, she said. They said it would be tasteful. Fire in the sky is not casual, so they had cake, music, fried chicken, and fairy lights. Chloe wore a silver paper crown. Minjun arrived carrying a carefully wrapped box. Chloe shook it beside her ear. If this is a security alarm, I will cry. It is not. Inside was the small plant she had left in his apartment. It had grown new leaves, and someone had tied a yellow ribbon around the pot. Chloe looked up, stunned. You kept it alive. You said it was proof someone stops by. I did not want the proof to die. Naomi covered her mouth. Jae-min whispered. That was strong. Chloe hugged Minjun. He froze for half a second, then hugged her back. Jae-min pressed a button on a small remote. Confetti exploded too early, blasting over Naomi, the cake, and Minjun's shoulder. Naomi slowly turned to him, covered in gold paper. Was that your one backup plan? Jae-min looked at the remote. It was supposed to happen after the candle. Chloe picked confetti from her hair. I love it. My birthday attacked us. Later, while Chloe danced under rooftop lights and Minjun watched her with a smile he no longer tried to hide, Naomi rested her head against Jae-min's shoulder. You are planning something, she whispered. He took her hand. One thing. Good thing? The best thing. Jae-min did not take Naomi to a gala, a ballroom, or a restaurant with a chandelier large enough to frighten birds. Instead, he took her to the tiny cafe where she had once forced him to buy only one coffee and one slice of cake. Naomi looked around the wooden tables and plants in the window. This is suspiciously normal. I am evolving, he said. Should I be worried? Probably. They shared strawberry cake. One slice. Jae-min looked proud of himself. Naomi pointed her fork at him. Restraint, growth, a miracle in a navy coat. I almost bought 3 cakes. And yet you survived. After coffee, he led her to a small rooftop garden above the building. It was simple and quiet, glowing with soft lights. No reporters, no staff. Just Seoul, the evening sky, and a nervous Jae-min. He took her hand. When we started this, I thought I was asking you to help me with a problem. Then you became the person I wanted to tell everything to. The person who made my silent penthouse feel like somewhere I wanted to return to. He opened a small ring box and lowered himself onto one knee. No more pretending. No more contracts. Naomi Carter, will you marry me? For once, Naomi had no joke ready. Then she laughed through tears. You waited until I had cake crumbs on my dress? Jae-min looked alarmed. Do you want me to start over? No, she held out her hand. This is perfect. Yes. He slid the ring onto her finger and stood just in time for Naomi to pull him into a warm kiss beneath the rooftop lights. Chloe found Minjun near the stairwell afterward. He was standing guard with his usual serious posture, but his eyes were suspiciously shiny. Were you crying? She asked. No, Minjun. The rooftop has wind. We are indoors. He looked at the wall. Old wind. Chloe smiled and stepped closer. That was beautiful. He nodded. Yes. She took a breath, suddenly nervous in a way she almost never was. So, what about us? Minjun looked at her carefully. Us? Do not make me explain with hand puppets. Are we together? Officially? Secretly? Accidentally? Are we a couple, Park Minjun? He blinked, then smiled. A real smile. I would like to be, he said. If you still want me, Chloe's expression softened. I have been trying to get you to notice me for months. I carried snacks like bait. The snacks were effective. That is not the romantic part. You were effective too. She laughed and stepped into him. This time, Minjun did not freeze. He wrapped his arms around her like he had finally found the right place for them. So I can call you my boyfriend? She asked. Yes. And you can call me your girlfriend? Yes. Say it. He took a breath. You are my girlfriend. Chloe grinned. Again. With less courtroom energy, Minjun laughed and kissed her forehead. You are my girlfriend, Chloe. Much better. They celebrated on the penthouse rooftop. Naomi wore the ring, and Chloe checked it under every light. It sparkles differently from every angle, Chloe declared. Jae-min looked pleased. I researched that. Naomi gave him a look. Of course you did. There were charts. You made ring charts? Only 3. Minjun set plates on the table while Chloe followed him with a smile so wide Naomi noticed immediately. Naomi pointed between them. Something happened. Minjun stood straight. We are dating. Chloe stared at him. You announced that like a flight departure. Was it unclear? Jae-min raised his glass. Very clear. Congratulations. Dinner was simple. Noodles, fried chicken, normal fruit, and 1 cake Jae-min had been allowed to purchase. Only 1 cake, Naomi said. Jae-min leaned closer. There are 2 more in the kitchen. Naomi closed her eyes. You are a work in progress. But a charming one, unfortunately. Later, they watched Seoul glow beneath them. Naomi leaned into Jae-min, her ring catching the light. Chloe rested her head against Minjun's shoulder, and he leaned slightly back into her. So, Chloe said, what now? Naomi looked at Jae-min. He smiled at her, open and certain. Now, Naomi said, we stop pretending. Below them, Seoul kept shining. Above it, 4 people who had found each other through fake dates, bad cooking, broken vending machines, and impossible timing sat exactly where they were meant to be. Together.